Welcome in everybody. Welcome into a stream test on the Beechcraft Baron X-Plane 12. I'm parked out here on a ramp of an airport in Romania. And I think I'm just going to do some VFR flying today and maybe some circuits and see where we go from there. Just to test the software really and to see if it's working correctly. So far though, it does seem a lot better. There's no need to use the YouTube Studio with this new software that I have. And there's no need to use anything else, so yeah, I guess if you want to stay around and watch the flight you can do, but there's no obligation to. This flight may get deleted afterwards, so I guess if you are here it's lucky for you. Let's hop in the plane and let's do some circuitry here, or flying around. We're going to check out Romania's landscape. Any issues, if anybody does join, it probably won't get sorted on the stream, probably sorted for the next one on Friday. Cool. So I won't be following the full checklist today, I'm just going to be doing a quick walk around of things and quick start up the plane. Just a bit of casual flying, I think, on this one. Cool, so we got the landing gear down. Got the switches should all be off. With the exception of prop sync, that should always be on. Panel light should be off as well. Let's go and introduce the fuel to the system. Batteries and alternators are coming on. Navigation lights and beacons. Not the best visibility because it's daytime, but obviously it's real-time weather and real-world weather, excuse me, and real-time. Beacon's nice and visible. So we click down here, actually you got UT and then you want LT, and that's the local time there for the airport we're in. So about 1 hour ahead of GMT. As you can see, we're down here in a place called Computerzy. LRCT. Computerzy. I'm not quite sure how to edit this software, the stream details while I'm on it, so I'll have to just sort of get used to the process. And the more I use it, and hopefully there's going to be no issues with this. I just did one practice recording last night, and it came out pretty crystal clear, almost immediately actually, after recording it, so that was quite refreshing. Okay. There's no way to see or check the new software I'm using, just to give you a bit of context. Doesn't have two screens, it only has one. You can only see the final output as it's being put out. And it doesn't allow you to see things prior to putting them there, so it's hard to judge what to put on the screen or not, whether I can. I'm not sure how to. I.e. how to change the stream name. It sounds silly, but obviously I'd have to do that either afterwards or during the preparation. Let's get on with it anyway. That's the airport LRCT. We're just letting the sort of battery warm up. We're going to introduce fuel on 1. We're going to get those props fully forward. They should actually be fully back and then fully forward prior to starting. It's to do with the angle of the blade. So we got number 1. We're going to just panel lights, come on. Just prime them until we get peak flow. So we're actually about 1200 feet. Peak flow is not really that much, because you have to put the propeller fully forward. I think I did that wrong last time. Again, I've not been flying propeller much lately. And then of course you are free to start the engines. One of them anyway. Almost had a false start there. So there we go. We got number 1 engine is on and running. Just confirm the parking brake is set. And by the way, X-Plane 12 did update the Baron. Excuse me, the Baron's parking brake system. So you do in fact have to do it realistically, holding the toe brakes and pulling up the parking brake on. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Right, so there's number one engine. We really want about 1000 RPM, which is where it is now. We're going to do the same on this other engine. So we're going to prime it. There's the peak flow. Bring it back down to about 1000, which is the same as the other one, and then we can turn that one on as well. As you can see, they're a very successful start. The honeycomb key belloway will remain in the start position. As you can see, so you have to switch it back pretty quick. Usually in real life it would automatically switch back. Cool. Avionics. We're probably going to use a transponder to stand by navigational equipment today if we need to go anywhere in particular. LRCT. Let's check if they got any departures available. Oh, they have got some, so maybe we could fly a little bit of a departure. We just pick. Or maybe not. You can also select vectors to final. So let's do a quick circuit. Said I wasn't going to follow the checklist, but I can't help but try and do it at least semi-decently. Takes the lights on. So yeah, 1200, 2400 on there. As in 24 degrees. And that should be enough to allow you to move the engines beyond 1200 RPM. Cool, so I'm going to stick the FD on, and if you press the, I won't press it yet, but if you press the GA button, I'll show you something cool with that when we get to the runway. Cow flaps, yaw dampers off. Let's just test the yaw damper. Yaw damper's working. Okay, parking brake release. I'm going to judge by the wind direction today, so we need to get that windsock in sight. So there it is. It looks like it will be a departure there from the right hand side. Again, the controls just slightly off today. I don't know if you have another controller plugged in, even if you click ignore it, it won't work. So you'll have to choose yaw, and then you'll have to choose it again. Obviously there's still a conflict even with nothing selected. Obviously unplugging it, which should help it, and then realistically it should work after that. Long way to do it, but if you don't want to unplug any other controllers, I guess that's what you'll have to do. So okay, so we pulled the brake on manually, and now we have to actually push the brake off manually as well. So there's some of that realism that they put in the Baron 5.8. No REP pack, by the way. I had someone comment last night on a previous video and asking me if I was using the Reality expansion pack, and no, I'm not. All movements on the outside have been done through a third-party add-on by an add-on by another party, and they allow me to walk around the aircraft. And then if you move your controls as normal, regardless of the view you're in, you'll be able to move them and see them from the external view. Cool, so here's the runway already. Just gonna go ahead and hold short here. Let's warm our engines up a little bit. I'm going to break the rules. I think it's pretty secure, the Baron, so it can usually exceed 24 Celsius before 1200 RPM before 24 Celsius, and there won't really be any issues with it. Just going to check the flaps as well, so let's bring these up to 1500 RPM. Let's dig our strobe on while we're doing this. 1500, we're just looking for a slight flex in the propellers. Then up to 1700. And this is where we do the magneto check. So there's a very slight drop there, which is obviously expected. And then we could go straight up. We do need to technically, I don't know, you don't have to feather them at 1700. I'm not found it on the checklist. So 2200 RPM is a lot. Sometimes the brakes won't hold if it's wet. And then you just want to just flex them again down to about 1900 RPM. So do it quite slowly, and then you'll notice it gets about there on the propeller line towards the feather thing, and that will be the ideal point for the test. you want to make sure you do it. If you're unsure whether it's actually done it correctly, do it a few times. Check your pitos, check your fuel pumps. So as you can see there, the oil pressure is warming up quite nicely now we're doing that. Up to you whether you leave your pumps on or not, or pitos, it'll depend on obviously conditions. Okay, landing lights on, and let's set these transponders to test, and then to altitude. Quick dead check, just make sure the dead run is absolutely fine. 3 to go. Looking clear on the right, and obviously going to be clear on the left, there's no traffic. Might be able to use ATC when I'm in the air, maybe increase that realism. So let's get the flaps back up. See if we can get the ATC online before we depart. We may get a talon off because we've already taxied onto the runway. Yeah, only tower gives us VFR departure or taxi to gate. We'll get clearance when we're in the air to do a touch and go possibly. See if they'll give it to us. There's 80 knots, stable takeoff, so rotate. Positive brake gear is coming up. Reducing that down to 2500 already. Didn't get the QH, it's fine. And we didn't press the go around button, so if you do press go around, it'll give you a 10 degrees pitch up, and that will help for the takeoff as well. So I'm just going to pitch here for about 120. Put those landing lights off. Keep the manifold pressure pretty high. Romania is looking nice, so it's looking nice and green, a lot of fields here. Wonder if we're nearby a sea or something, if we can get to one from here. I imagine the nearest probably the Black Sea, wouldn't it? A few airports down there, that's 342 nautical miles, and then Brasov's down there, that might be worth going to. How far is that? 80 nautical miles, that's not too bad. I quite like the look of this one down here though, this smaller airport. Brasov will probably be a much bigger airport. Yeah, it's kind of like an international one. Anyway, so okay, climb it down, it's 120 knots, it's pretty stable. In terms of weight and balance, we have we have 4 passengers on board, cargo and 1 pilot, and then we got a bit of fuel. We did actually take off with fuel in the yellow, so we'll have to land and refuel. No time for a touch and go at this airport, we're doing it the next. Just going to climb now to 5,000 feet. Increasing that speed as we get closer to the cruising altitude. Probably want to break those cow flaps up after takeoff. As we get closer, we're going to reduce our angle of attack there. So we head down to the south, Sibiu. I'm not sure the pronunciation. 140 is a pretty good climb speed anyway. It gives us about 700 feet a minute. And now we're getting close, we can actually keep the RPM. There is a reference, I think it's 2500, it may be 2400 at this one, so we're going to reduce it ever so slightly. You'll notice the manifold pressure is naturally reduced to 2400, so we're going to leave it like that. We've just gone past 5,000 feet. Adding all that trim there, keeping it in level flight, and then of course you can put the altitude. recommend getting on course before you switch the autopilot line. Just get it pre-prepared, and then when you've got a line to where you're meant to go in at the right altitude, then engage it. Otherwise, it's going to be throwing the plane all over the place. As you can see there, still wanting to go nose up. So in that case, we probably do need to reduce. I'm going to reduce the mixture in this case. Just bring the AGT up. Peak EG flow, and there we go. So probably alright to engage the autopilot. And as you can see, it's a smooth transition there into the autopilot mode. Now the reason I've leaned this at 5,000 feet is obviously we're above 3,000, but it just gives you maximum efficiency of the engines. And obviously increases the EGT, which is a good way to gauge it. So far though, this software in the stream does actually look fine. It doesn't look like it's glitching out at all. Super clear on my screen. Obviously the game is obviously the Beechcraft Baron can maintain 60 FPS pretty well. I've kept it at 60 FPS on X-Plane 12, otherwise for some reason that would cause issues with the streams as well. Yeah, this new software is great. You can keep it open while not having the YouTube studio open. I'm just going to adjust the volume slightly because it's going to be in the red zone. Still want it nice and loud without drowning out any narrations. It's always going to be a slightly higher and louder than a propeller aircraft. I just hope my voice isn't too loud as well. If it is, now is a great time for people to give me feedback on this stream. I'll probably leave it up for a little bit, but it may get deleted, so... But either way, this software is a lot better. I was using Prism Live Studio and it was fantastic, and then the last month or two it's just been playing up and not been doing streams or recordings properly. Since they've been updating it, I don't really know what's gone wrong with it. It was brilliant, but for whatever reason it stopped working. Let's go ahead and just climb up to 9,000 feet. Mixtures are going fully forward. Props fully forward. It has so much speed and it's full. It's almost full. We have 5 people on board and it's maintaining pretty good speed. And also, this is a good opportunity to say, this wide bar now, usually people might think that's the flap limit, and it is, but only when you're fully loaded at a maximum capacity. So you'll notice in the flights I've been doing, I've been lowering the flaps around 100, a lot lower than, a lot higher speed than 120, which is normal if you don't have a fully loaded plane. This is the maximum operating thing here. I can't remember the proper name for it, but that's the reason why it's there. Diva down there in the south, and what's that airport? We got Karen Sibes. And as I say, Brasov is over there, but we're not going to do in Brasov today. It's a lovely place though. Oh wow, look at that, we had an airport right next to us. Transylvania. We're going to go to Transylvania. We set off from over here, the LRCT. We can go back, I guess. We can do a little loop, a little triangle. Let's just tune that in. There's 9,000 feet. Should really lower that rate of ascent before we get to it. And we're also on course now for the airport, and we'll probably do that. We'll probably go there and then back up north, just a bit of a practice flight. Come up to 9,000 feet, so we can get a better view of the mountains, and obviously we can try some feathering of the props this way as well. (2500 RPM). We do need to lean our CH fuel flow there, so we're going to do it for peak flow at the moment. You'll notice the CHT's gone high, probably because we did the RPM high on the climb. We need to keep it at 2500, I think, would have been best. CHT is a bit high, so we're going to reduce it by just cranking over those cow flaps. And you see the simulations realism is pretty good. It will reduce the CHT if you open them. Such a beautiful plane this is, isn't it? It's really been modelled well. Yeah, so CHT's come down. I'm just going to wait for it to get a little bit lower, maybe about 250, and then I'll close them again. LRSB for the flight plan waypoint. There we go. It's 20 nautical miles actually. Maybe this will be nice bumpy. We do need to get down anyway and refuel. We're in the yellow at the moment. We're doing really badly on fuel. We're going to end up running out. Cow flaps are coming close again. Well, the CHT will rise, but then it'll probably decrease when we descend. because we'll be feathering the props. That's really cool. I cannot believe I missed this airport, these few airports. And of course there's Cluj and Apoka. Of course, it's right. It's all right there, everybody. All the the airports we need. I would have liked to flown to actually this airport up here. Nice little places to go to in Romania, I guess. But yeah, the Transylvania one sounds the best. Targu Mirez. Pronunciation is not there because obviously the Romanian language, Baltic language, is actually very difficult to pronounce. Okay, so autopilot is coming off. I'm gonna keep the nav on, and then I'll fly myself down to probably about 2,000 feet. Let's go ahead and feather the propellers. So I'm not gonna do them all the way today. I'm just gonna do them down to 1900 as we showed on the prior to takeoff prop feathering test. I can already see the runway straight ahead of us. That's good. Good visibility up here. A lot of mountains as well. As you can see there, if you can feather in them at about 1900, it'll give you, looks like 1700, about 700 feet per minute descent rate, about 170, which is, I would say, pretty damn perfect actually in terms of recommended descents and things. Let's do nav 1, that should be the ILS glide slope. You don't need it on just yet though, and distractors in the meantime, but yeah, 700 feet per minute at 170 knots. Roughly 1900 on the RPM there, feathered down. And about 20 manifold pressure. I just can't get over how great it looks compared to the other one. I mean, I love Prism Studio. Don't get me wrong. I'm not slating it in the slightest. I highly recommend it. I do highly recommend it. I'm still going to be using it, of course, for other things. But like the fact that you can connect connect to this other streaming software, and you know, you can set up a stream from within that without having to use YouTube is so much easier than having to use the YouTube Studio as well. So that's going to save a lot of time having to, because at least that way you won't have to have your internet open. Okay, we're going to be joining the downwind leg now. I am going to feather them down to about 1500. The reason I'm not going all the way is because it's, when you go all the way, that's more for an emergency, I think. I do feather them all the way though. Sometimes it's, you know, just depends. Right, landing lights on. We're going to do downwind checks. Let's just do our fuel pumps. It's actually quite cold at 9,000, 7,000 feet up here. It's saying it's like 3 or 4 degrees. So we're going to stick our pitot heats on. As you can see there, the speed is increasing. I'm going to reduce the manifold. Remember to keep it high to prevent the feathering from cutting out the engines, and then just pitch down accordingly. Okay, feather is coming down to about, if we can get to it, 5,000 RPM on each engine. Nah, can't quite reach it, otherwise it'll go too slow. It looks like it's 1200 there on the RPM. Reduce that manifold to about 1500. Your damper's coming off, props coming full forward. Allow some of that speed to burn off. Allow the CHT to rise again. Shouldn't really drop below the the green mark there, the 150. Otherwise you're going to be too cold on the engine CHT. Okay, piezo heat's coming off. Now we're just going to continue this descending turn onto the base leg and final. Hopefully we'll have a nice smooth touchdown. I have lost the airport, everyone, a little bit embarrassing. It's right there though, it's right on our right hand side. One notch of flaps. Visibility's not great, but it's the runway is just over there on our right hand side. It's looking like a nice narrow airport. Should be no issues here on the landing. And that's a bit better view there, and we're going to set the gear down. You see there selected navigation and the approach. So there is an approach switch. Let's switch the approach switch on, and that should help line us up with the ILS. Keep your manifold high, add another notch of flaps. Slowing down, we are almost fully loaded, quite heavy today, so we'll be going in slightly faster. Fuel is almost out as well, good timing. This is a really beautiful place. I wasn't expecting it to be so stunning in terms of the landscape. There's just so much nature here and so many trees. You can see the change in there into the autumn sort of seasons. The oranges, yellows as the trees' leaves fall off. And then we got winter, of course, coming, which is gonna be great. Anyway, we've missed this approach. It's gonna be a go round. So one set of flaps up. Yeah, coming up. Probably just a bit too off and a bit too unsure of the height because the QNH hasn't been programmed in. 1006, so our QNH is well off. And we're going to level off at 3,000 feet. This time I am going to reduce it to about 2300 RPM. Same with the manifold pressure. Bring that down to about 2300. Landing lights off, your damper back on. Keep one notch of flaps deployed. Incredible! I can't wait to fly to. Well, it's gonna ruin the flight surprise. I like to make everyone guess what the next flight will be, but the next one will be in the Baron. When I do the next flight in the Baron, it'll be in Romania again. We'll be going from Cluj-Napoca. Forgive me, Romania, if the pronunciation is wrong. Flying from Cluj-Napoca down to Brasov or Brasov. However you guys pronounce it, that's where we're going. Really looking forward to that flight. As you can actually see them on the map today, so we didn't get to go to Transylvania, which is fine. But up here is the Cluj-Napoca, and then we'll be flying from there down to Brasov in a next stream, whenever that is. I can't remember when I've scheduled it for, so everybody look forward to that. On a nice downwind here, so let's reduce our. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to increase the props. So mixture's full rich, props full rich, landing lights are on, fuel pump is on, one notch of flaps deployed. Let's get our gear down. I'm going to keep the approach switch on so we can see our glide slope. I'm going to slowly descend now. Reduce that manifold pressure back to about 1600 there. And around we go. Local time in Romania is 3:10, so that'll be GMT 2:10. There's the runway just off to our left. Let's get full flaps in. We're not going to have time in the final, I don't think, to add them. We're going to just sort of hover at this altitude for now. Still a little bit high up, but I'm being cautious of the train and the people down there. I think I can see some nice markets as well, some nice little places to buy some food. Amazing. Nice little descent rate, not descending too quickly. I'm going to do that left-hand turn, probably about now. I'm going to keep this the viewpoint so you can see it. So you got about 20 degrees there. Go the full 30 degrees. Even then we might overshoot. It's very easy to do it in the Baron, and again we're coming too low, so first time too high, go around, second time too low. Oh, nice landing, everybody. Very good landing. A little bit early on the flare, a little bit of a strong flare in there, and then we soft touch down on the rear wheels, but hard touch down on the nose. I'd say that's a 5 out of 5. I'm joking. It's only a 3.5 out of 5. Anyway, nice little flight there around Romania. I'd like to fly in this country some more. I do appreciate the scenery, of course. Didn't turn the yaw down properly. Maybe that's why we were a bit more stable on the approach. Anyways, taxi off the runway. Strobes are coming off. Okay, 16 there for the FedEx. Whiskey. Oh, we got a taxi all the way down there. And of course we should open the cow flaps when we land. Although the CHT is lowered on its own. What a spot. Right next to the old control tower there. We got a new one on the left, and the looks like a remnants there of an old one. Perhaps a World War hangar, who knows? Bit of history built into the airport. We're now going to drive down. Not really sure where I'm going at this point. I thought this was a space. Just in the wrong angle. Let's turn around. There we go. Somewhere there we can park. Parking brakes coming on. Avionics coming off. Fuel cut off. All the lights. You're supposed to leave the beacon on, but the battery's off, so you might as well turn it off. Magneto's off, battery and alternators are off. And of course gear. Oh wow, that's cool. So it set the chocks automatically. That's nice. So oh wow, look at that parking, everybody. Oh my god. I came in there thinking I was gonna be parking awfully, but I ended up parking perfectly. I mean, that doesn't get any more perfect than that. I'm quite impressed. You saw the little spin at the end, and then obviously the chocks got set automatically. Wow, that's a dream come true. An actual good parking spot and a good parking technique. Anyway, guys, take care. This has been a little bit of a short stream just to check the sort of functionality of the new software and just to see how I feel about using it. It's good, I like it, and I think it's going to be a lot better for the stream. I just have to watch this one back after and see what it's like and judge where things can be improved, if anything. So yeah, if anyone has been here viewing this, thank you, and I'll probably see you on Friday tomorrow. Take care. Until then, next time.